If you're waking up inside a high control religion, it can feel confusing. Asking questions about what you were taught doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you were thinking. If you need support while coming out of a high control religion, visit xjwfriends.com. You don't have to do this alone.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay.
And I hope you're staying warm and ice-free. I know there's some very dangerous ice conditions taking place around.
Okay, she did. What now? There we go. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes, great. The theme tonight is what now? And the question, what now, usually comes up when something happens that you didn't plan on. You didn't plan on it, you didn't prepare for it, and you're stumped as to what to do for the next step to respond to it. What now? And basically, it's a question of almost desperation. What now? And see, we usually need to know the next step to take because it's our steps. And we're going to be responsible for those steps. So depending on how you ask that question is going to determine the next steps that you take. For example, if that's a quiet question in your mind, what now? You know, in your quietness and your reflecting and your thinking, what now? You know, what shall I do? What do? Or in contrast, if you make that known publicly and kind of cry out in the streets, what now? What do I do now? I'm so lost.
Mm-hmm.
This is so upsetting. I don't know what to do. That's totally different. Because now what you're doing, you're leaving yourself wide open to someone who would be more than willing to tell you without taking any responsibility for your consequences. So you have to be very careful how you present yourself under this condition of confusion. And it's normal to go through it, the confusion and it's not just confused at that point. You're at a loss as to direction. It happens. It's just normal. It does happen. Now, the reason why I think it's important is, especially maybe to the people here, is that you've been in an organization that was more than willing to tell you everything that you should do and should not do at any given point in time. And whether or not you've, complied with that, to whatever extent you've complied with it, you've trained yourself to seek direction, basically, of a master over you. What now, master? What now? And judge for yourselves how that turned out, leaving your hands in that master. And I don't care who that master is, man or otherwise. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's a master over you that you sought direction from. So now the question just becomes, who gets to ask that question? You, me, what now? What now? Privately or publicly? Privately, it's something internally that you are open for direction, but privately, so as not to make it known to people outside of you that would be more than willing to exploit you and use you, and not even care the effect that it has on you. That's been common. That's commonly happened. It's happened with the organization we were in, Watchtower. Happened there. It happens with all other religions to one extent or another. It does. It happens with politics. It happens with government. It happens with the Boy Scouts. It happened with it happened with all sorts of organizations, institutions that were more than willing to answer the question that you had, what now? We'll follow.
Mhm.
In other words, they didn't have your best interest at heart. They don't. They don't. But you do. You have your best interests literally at heart. And that's a place where you should probably keep it at heart. And the question gets answered. It does get answered because there's something within you and everyone
Mhm.
that has that ability to perceive the things outside of us. We have the ability to perceive it, but we have to listen. You know, we have to quietly listen. And it comes through. It does come through. If we're not desperate and open to someone who to do it for us. Tell me. I don't want if I have to find out. It's too difficult. Tell me. The knowledge, the information out there, it's just so confusing. I don't want to deal with it. Fair enough, but it's not going to be fair enough. That's the problem. It's not a fair situation when you leave yourself in that position of having others handle knowledge for you. Now, if they want to provide knowledge, that's good. I seek knowledge all the time,
Mhm.
all the time. But I'm not looking for them to make a decision for me about that knowledge. In other words, I don't ask them, what now? Rather, what is? What is? And then I figure out, or try to, where I'm at with it. And I'm the only one that knows where I'm at with it if I listen to myself. And then I get to exercise that control over myself. Now, I'm speaking for me. Now, obviously, as a couple, we do that. How do we do that? Do we do that?
Yeah, we talk about it. We discuss it. We usually bring something up and see how the other person feels about it. And if one person feels stronger than the other, then kind of, give to the other person. Um, sometimes one person feels stronger about something than someone else. So
Sure. Well, that's reasonable. I mean,
But-
because maybe it's hitting them harder.
right. But at least what we do is consider it.
Consider, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I wasn't that way in the beginning. I was kind of stubborn, and I'm not crying. I'm just
What do you mean
just moisture.
stubborn?
I was. There's an Italian word, cabatast, hard-headed.
Stunad?
Stunad. What's cabatast?
That means
Something
stonehead.
Anyway, I'm not that way now.
Look, the point is all of us.
But we want to consider things. We want to be open,
Oh, yeah,
But we have to be careful what we're open to,
oh,
because we were open to the witnesses when they came to our door because we wanted to take in Bible knowledge.
that leads to another problem. Open, but we might want to benefit and we might want something that it wouldn't be good to get. Now, here's another problem when we offer ourselves as looking for the answer to what now. We could be looking for, something that it's not ours. It's not, in fact, it's not ours to have. That's called coveting. We don't use that word too much, but coveting.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah, coveting means you want something. It's not just that you want something. You want something that's not yours. It's not yours. They have it. I want it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, if it just sets up that suggestion in your mind, I want it, and man, I'm going to go out and work for it. That's not coveting. No. Coveting is a little more greedy and self-serving
Mm-hmm.
than that. Coveting says, and I'm going to see what I can do to get it without working for it. And this is where the Watchtower, in their superior understanding of humans, knew that humans have a tendency of being greedy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
greedy, covetous, wanting something that's not theirs. It's not theirs. So if you're offered something that's not yours to have, well, what do? Do you say, oh, how can I get it? Or do you say, it's not mine, man? No, I have no rights to that. No, sorry, I have no rights to that. Depending on our reactions, they're either able to exploit that person or not, or they can't. No deal, not interested. Close the door, maybe slam the door. Have you ever had that happen? They knew what they were doing.
I'm laughing because Sten wanted to know, is that a table lamp floating in the air behind Joan?
Oh, don't tell them it's magic. It's magic. I'm not giving my secrets away. Oh, why did we do that? Actually, it's just hanging. It's a hanging lamp. You can do it if you want, but I'm not recommending it. But if you want to, I'll tell you how.
Okay. What were you saying?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, the tendency we have not only to see we're needy, we need to know what next. We really do. We really do need to know what next. Now what? But we have to be very careful of being greedy. And this is where the society said, well, look, we were looking at you and we hear you're in need, aren't you? Yeah. Wow, you can live in a paradise. Oh, yeah, or in whatever else. Come on, they hit all the offers. I'm not even going to relate all the different offers.
You know them. We don't have to mention them.
No, I'm not gonna. The point is they tapped into not only our need, they tapped into greed. Because at some point we should have said, no, thank you. No, that's not for us to have. No, thank you. It's nothing I've worked for, earned, or willing. No. So at any rate, we're in that position. So what do we do? So how do we function? How do we behave? How do we manage our self, our need? What sort of person, literally, what sort of person should we be? Good question. It really is a good question. What sort of person ought we to be? It really is. And there's such good information out there. And I'm not talking about in the Bible either. There's some, there really is some in the Bible, there is. But there's other information out there, and it's been even before the Bible, that relates what would be good for humans to be and how to behave, to avoid problems and to seek direction for what we need to do, especially in troubling times. And I know you've noticed, but these are troubling times.
Mm-hmm.
politically, financially,
Mm-hmm. The weather.
weather,
Yeah.
um,
Religious.
yeah, with problems going on in religion and the abuses of all sorts that have taken place, and we know it, and whatever else. And we can go on now, and there are other things that are happening with the earth that we have no control over. None, none, none. Don't blame me for polluting it, you know. But yet they're going to blame me for polluting the earth and blame you. And no, you're not polluting the earth. Maybe you're polluting your backyard or something, and that's your business. That's your problem. You get to live in your polluted backyard. Maybe even you're even polluting it for someone else, but you're not polluting the earth. We're not. There's things happening to the earth that it's happening that we have no control over. So what now? What do I do now? What? So what? What do I do about it? See, you need to know how to go forward without being in distress
Mm-hmm.
and opening yourself up to exploitation because you're desperate. Desperate. That's what the government's doing now. The government has been, always has been, getting people to side up, and desperately seek what they believe to be the better whatever. And in doing so, they clash. People are literally clashing with each other. Well, okay. So, in other words, I should clash? Because that's what they've done. They've set people up, different poles, politically,
Excuse me.
to be opposites of each other and end up clashing. Well, what's going to become of that? Oh, well, people say what's going to become of that, don't they? Say, oh, you can have a civil, you know what? More than civil unrest, it's more like civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Well, oh my goodness. Well, I didn't bring that about. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. What can I do to prevent it? Right? What now? Now what? We have to have a way to go forward with our power, and not to be thrown by it, nor to be controlled by it. Neither one. We don't want to be thrown to where we're out of control or lose all power, nor do we want someone to grab control of us and use us for their power, in which case it will hurt us. But at any rate, there's good information out there. Really, 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 really good information out there for us. I mean, there's powerful, strong ways that we can be. I believe that. And right now we've chosen to have
It's a 15-minute video.
15 minutes.
And it's about, the title is 5 Myths About Humanity That We Need to Rethink. And this is that professor again, Professor Jang. We watch a lot of his videos, but he has a lot of good information. And again, he's teaching Chinese high school students that are going to be going on to university.
Or
Probably.
whatever.
Or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what he presents is basically the book, information from the classics, the old knowledge.
All right, so let's summarize the concepts that we've learned, okay? So you've been brainwashed into thinking certain ideas about who we are. They're not true. The first myth is we humans are driven by material desires, okay? So why do we want, so what do we want? We want a lot of money, okay? We want to pass on our genes. We want to marry a lot of beautiful women who are young And so they can give us a lot of babies because we want to pass on our genes. Okay? And we want to maintain our status. All we care about is power. Okay? Fundamentally, we humans are fundamentally imagination. And we care about three things. The first is we want to express our religion through art, music, and rituals. We want to know where we came from, why we're here, where we're going. Okay? That's who we really are. That's the first thing. Second thing is we are diverse and want to differentiate ourselves. Okay? We want to stand out. We want to be different. We want to be creative. The third thing is we are curious and want to explore. And that's what explains why we go everywhere. Okay? This has been true throughout human history. We may not have documents saying that we were traveling, but we were traveling because there's always some of us who want to go and see a new world, even though it may not exist. That's who we are fundamentally. So don't believe people when they say, oh, okay, you just care about money, you just care about power, you just care about sex. That's not who we are. What we are fundamentally religious, spiritual beings that want to create and to love and to connect. Okay, that's the first myth. Second myth is the most natural unit is a family and men want to protect their property, which includes women, okay? So maybe you've been taught that, okay, men are in charge and women are just animals to breed babies. Okay, that's not true. For most of human history, it was women who had control of their bodies. Women could choose who to sleep with and how many men to sleep with, and they often chose to sleep with everyone. Why? Because sleeping with other men, first of all, women enjoy it, okay? But second of all, it allows women to create social cohesion. So for most of human history, early civilizations, women were the core and center of all societies. And the third thing is, there's actually a strategy in sleeping with many different men because now everyone is responsible for raising a child. Does that make sense? If I'm the father and I know exactly who my children are, then I'm going to protect my children and discard everyone else, okay? But if no one knows who the fathers are, everyone's responsible for taking care of every single child. And that's the best strategy that they can have, okay? Because that ensures that every child becomes successful, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so the second myth that we will discuss later on. Third myth, humans follow the iron rule of nature, survival of the fittest. Okay, that's just taught by Darwin. That's what evolution is. But that's wrong, okay? Throughout most of human history, humans cared for each other. We were compassionate, empathy, right? We believe that every creature has divinity, and those who are weakest have the most divinity. That's why when we kill an animal, we still thank the animal, because we're all part of the same life cycle, all right? Number 4, humans have gotten smarter over the centuries. Civilization is far superior to primitive cultures. Again, this is wrong, okay? The truth is that with the development of civilization, the human imagination has decreased. Our brains can be supercomputers if we allow them to be. Primitive people are more creative, which means they have better memories than we do, okay? They're able to recall more stuff. They're able to store more information. They're more sensitive perception. They have more empathy, okay? They know exactly how you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and how to make you feel better. And greater emotional resilience, okay? So they're much more mature than we are. Number 5, we evolved from apes. The truth is that we are uniquely imaginative and we can choose our own evolution. Don't believe we're apes, okay? If you believe you're an ape, then you're an ape, okay? If you're an ape, then you like to go beat people up and like have sex with like a lot of women, okay? But we're not apes. We're imaginative first and foremost, and as such, we have control over our lives. And that's something that you have to like learn for yourself. All right? So let me give an example of this to conclude the class. This is Romatol 2, and we discovered him 10,000 years ago. In a burial site, okay? This is an Ice Age burial site. He's a dwarf, guys. Okay? He's a dwarf. You can see how small he is. He's a dwarf. And you would think that dwarfs don't really contribute to the community, so maybe, he's born, it's clear he's deformed, so just kill the guy, okay? because he's not going to have a great life anyway. Instead, what we found is, first of all, he lived to a pretty old age, and he was buried with jewelry. He was buried elaborately, and you only do that for people you really prize. That's kind of strange, right? The people who we think that are most worthless, dwarfs that actually don't do anything, they actually thought was divine and deserved a extremely elaborate, ritualized funeral. Why? Okay, so this is a book, The Dawn of Everything by David Graeber and David Wengrow, great book, okay? So what they say is this: when archaeologists undertake balanced appraisals of hunter-gatherer burials from the Paleolithic, they find high frequencies of health-related disabilities, but also surprisingly high levels of care until the time of death and beyond, since some of these funerals were remarkably lavish. This is an amazing idea to think about. But if you were deformed, if you were ill, they didn't throw you out. They spent a lot of time to take care of you, even though from their perspective, it was a waste of time and energy because you're going to die anyway. So why would they do that? Well, there are three possibilities, okay? The first possibility is it's really about maintaining cosmic balance and harmony. Everything is a cycle. Meaning what? Meaning we're all part of God. And if you suffer, then we have to make you better because we're all part of God together. Okay? So the concepts are unity of all, as above, so below. Set a good example to others. Okay, so that's the first possibility. Second possibility is because this is a pre-literate society, people have a stronger sense of empathy and morality. So they didn't want to see others suffer. Okay? And the third possibility is they appreciate diversity and difference in a way we don't anymore. Okay? Our entire school system is designed as survival of the fittest. If you can't do math, goodbye, you're worthless. If you can't get 100 on a test, goodbye, you're worthless, okay? But back then, they saw difference and diversity as gifts from God, right? So if you're a dwarf, it meant you had something special to offer. If you're strong, yeah, you can go hunt animals and you can protect the family. But if you're a dwarf, it meant that you might have something else to offer. And if we just celebrate you as someone who has something special to offer, then you can offer it to us, okay? And often what they could do is, well, they could probably sing better, they could probably tell better stories, they had more wisdom, they had more intuition, the connection with the divine, okay? And that's true even today where the best storytellers, the best musicians are often those who are marginalized from society, those who are strangers, those who are outsiders, those who society persecutes. They probably have greater imagination, greater intuition, greater empathy. And today, we don't celebrate these things, but back then, they did celebrate those things. So if you were different, if you're deformed, if you were ill, they saw you as blessed rather than cursed. And that's what we've forgotten today, okay? All right, so that's it. This is just an introduction into the entirety of human history, okay? We're gonna go pretty fast. Any questions? Yeah.
So would you say that because you made the examples using, you said Alzheimer's, autistic people. So would you say that people with cognitive disability in like modern age are like closer to the divine? We're returning to the divine by abandoning our cognitive so-called logic and everything that the civilization is. Would you say that makes us closer, would bring us closer to the divine?
Yeah, good question, okay, yeah. So, first of all, we're all connected to the divine, but we just choose to forget we're connected to the divine, okay? Why? Because society, mass society, needs you to be obedient, needs you to be a machine, needs you to work to be obedient, okay? So the entire point of school is to separate you from the divine. Why? Because at an early age, you're removed from your parents, okay? And in school, you're taught all sorts of like really strange knowledge, like 1 + 1 = 2. Like who cares 1 + 1 = 2, okay? But you're taught this is what matters. And before, we would just let kids run around nature and learn resilience, learn courage, learn creativity, okay? So the entire point of society is to brainwash you or remove you from the divine. But there's certain members of society who can't be removed from the divine because we don't want them, right? So kids who are autistic, kids with disabilities, kids who are just different, okay? Once you discard it, they actually return to the divine. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's like, for example, a lot of people develop cognitive disabilities after a lot of, like you said, being put into schools, being kind of limited by the civilization. Would you say that in that circumstance, by developing or be given a cognitive disability, we're actually reconnecting with the divine?
Okay, yeah, okay. So let's clarify, okay? So in China, in the United States, everywhere in the world, we're seeing a massive surge in mental illnesses, right? So depression, eating disorders, suicidal tendencies, anxiety, fear. Okay, so I mean, like it's just an explosion these past 20 years, especially with the advent of mobile phones, social media, the internet. Okay, so kids' lives suck. Okay, so why are kids so miserable? And the answer is that when you're born, you have an automatic connection with the divine. Okay, so and as you lose this connection, you grow more and more confused, which leads to anxiety and doubt. And over time, if this confusion is not addressed properly, then it will lead to depression. Okay. So another simple way of saying this is we crave human connection. We crave knowledge of the divine. We crave purpose and meaning in our lives. But the social media system has created this fake system in which we're in prison. Our imagination is in prison in pursuing activities that absolutely have no purpose, right? So on social media, all you care about is likes. How do I get my friends to like me, okay? So you do sorts of silly things like, I don't know, post pictures of you dancing in Hawaii or whatever, even though it gives you no meaning, okay? So what's happening is, before we cared about what makes us happy, and now we care about what we think would make other people happy, okay? And that's not who we are. Okay, once you lose that connection to the divine, then you can only get lost. So if you deny your intuition, if you deny your emotions, then you'll just become more and more miserable. Okay, does that make sense? Okay.
Like the strong empathy that you just mentioned, I thought that I'm curious where the strong empathy come from, because I usually thought that our empathy is shaped by the socialization and social norms by the society.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. Okay, so empathy just means our connections with others. Okay, and this is something we're born with. So a mother is born with an emotional connection with a child, right? And a child has an emotional connection with the mother. And over time, as this connection grows, their empathy develops. And this empathy almost becomes telepathic, so that even if the child is in school and the child is bullied, the mother is washing her clothes. She's like, I don't feel right. Maybe I should call the teacher and ask how my child is doing, okay? Okay. So that's what empathy is. Empathy just means a natural emotional connection that we're all born with. But it's entirely possible, and we know this from our society, to break that connection by sending the child off to school, by having a child online too much, by having a child watch television too much, okay? Breaking that emotional connection. And once the emotional connection is broken, remember, empathy, we crave empathy. We crave emotions more than we crave food. So it's as though we're becoming zombies almost, right? If you don't have empathy, if you don't feel connected with other people, it's as though you become a zombie. You don't have any direction, you don't have any purpose, you don't have any meaning in life anymore. And that's what leads to tremendous depression, okay? Does that make sense? So we are not socialized into empathy, we are socialized out of empathy. We're born into empathy. Okay? All right. Great questions. Okay, any more questions? Wait, great guys. So I will see you next time. All right. We'll continue this next time. Okay. So I'm just introducing these concepts, but we'll expand them and use more examples and learn more about human history from this framework. All right. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Shauna.
Yeah. So he basically, Jang at that point was exposing some of the myths versus the truths. There are truths. There's some truths about us. And so see for yourself. Think, consider yourself for yourself whether this is true or not. Well, just quickly run through them.
The first one was humans are driven by material desires. The most natural unit is the family.
That's the second one.
Second, the third, humans follow iron rule of nature. The fourth, humans have gotten smarter. And the fifth, we evolved from apes.
Gotcha. And those are all myths.
Myths.
Myths. And he contrasted it with what we really are. What humans have shown themselves to be. But society has basically bred that out of them, or maybe not bred, but they've groomed it out of them. Just like you are aware, and I'm aware of how the Watchtower Society grooms people to their desires. They're not natural. The people came in with their natural selves. They said, no, we're going to make you over. They lost their natural selves. Was that a good thing? See, the contrast between the myth and the reality. Well, why is that so important? Why is it so important to know? Is it just, it's interesting? In other words, the myth versus truth. Why is the truth more important than the myth? And basically, it answers the question, well, what now? How do I go forward? Well, someone would say, well, you got a problem, make a lot more money. Oh, okay, there you go. That'll solve your problem. That answers the question, what now? You got to make more money. Oh, okay. And it goes beyond that with all the other myths. You hit a myth, you hit a situation, you let your mind dwell on the myth that you were taught. Now, you don't go forward with truth. Truth. The truth about who you are. And this is interesting as far as truth goes. I bet a lot of us think that they know what a prophet is. I bet you think you know what a prophet is. You're probably going to say, prophet is someone who predicts the future. Well, that's what religion, especially Watchtower, has force-fed down people's throats. That prophet tells the future. We're going to tell you the prophet's futures. The futures of your future. Well, isn't it interesting? All these prophecies that the Watchtower put forth, they don't come about. They weren't true. They weren't true. But there are prophets, and there were prophets. And there still are prophets right now. And a prophet is someone who tells you what you are and how to be human, as opposed to unnatural, as opposed to being a social creation. That's what a prophet does. A prophet comes and tells you, hey, you're better than what they're making you think. You're not really what they call to be a sinner, worthy of damnation, blah, 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 blah. You're not that. No, you're something. You're a creation. You possess something. You possess a spark of the divinity. You're not a quote unquote sinner. Oh, religions don't like to hear that. No, which is one of the reasons why the religions stoned the prophets, because some of the prophets were telling humans, what it meant to be human. They didn't like that. Oh, they did not like that. So they got rid of them. Well, right now we're at a point in time where this internet, prophets are coming forth now. They're coming forth. Why? Because people are asking the questions, with all these things going on, what now? What now? They answer that question by telling us who we are, and then with our abilities to determine, I know what now. Imagination. To imagine that next step for ourselves, to create it for ourselves.
He made the point about so much mental illness,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
been in the last 20 years, and that's when the internet surge came about. And he mentioned how children crave human connection. Not only children, but people. We
Human.
need that human
Oh my goodness.
connection. Well, what happened with Facebook and Instagram, cell phones, the internet, that took away that human connection. And now you're watching a screen. Okay, you're watching us. Okay. Is there a purpose in it? Well, it's to encourage others that have left a high controlled organization and with a common goal of supporting each other. But we're not on here for likes or, how many.
Nor money.
Nor
See,
money.
We don't get any money to do this.
We don't
We're not
solicit.
looking for any money to do this either.
No.
In fact, we give money.
Yeah.
We give money to do this. We give money to do this. That's our business. We do that. So, see, one of the things he said, that humans want to express their religion, their beliefs, their heart, their feeling, their love, their whatever. They want to express it. Well, okay, I'm guilty of that. I do want to express it. As I notice, others want to express theirs as well. And many are. Jang was expressing his. There are many others
And
now.
people do it with music.
Yeah.
They do it with storytelling. They all kinds of ways.
Poetry.
Yeah.
Their acts, even just their kind acts that they perform, because they want to express that something special that they possess. Oh. Well, there's things that interfere with that. They are, and they're interfering with it more than ever now, more than ever. With things happening in other parts of this country, and people wondering, what's going on? Are we becoming a military state? Other countries' wars, money. What's going to happen to money? You're not going to have money in your pocket anymore. You're going to go someplace and they're going to scan you or what you have and determine, well, you can have it. Oh, no, you can't have it. Oh, I'm afraid you won't be able to get an airline ticket. Your license just is not going to work anymore because there's so many things that we're faced with. What now? What now? Now what? What do I do now? Well, guess what? The humans have this special ability to come up with the answer if they're allowed to be what they are. If they're prevented, or if they prevent themselves because they agree to repress themselves, then they're going to lose it. They lose it. The one girl asked a very interesting question about autism. Now, I'm sure autism has certain sources from, call it poisoning or medicines or drugs. I don't know. I'm not going to say what the source of it is. But I will say is that if it's a reaction to the repression and to the restriction that's been placed on the person. It's like a default. It's like, I don't like anything you're telling me. I don't like anything you're teaching me. I don't like what you're showing me. I don't like it. I'm going to ignore it, and I'm just going to dwell in my world of imagination. My world. I'm taking it back from you. You know, a way to look at it, just one way to look at it. And the other thing to mention is the internet, although it's filled with a lot of garbage, basically it's filled with lies now, because you're not going to get good information if you put a question out there. Google is very happy to tell you the Google answer.
Yeah, but
so many
things are AI
The
now.
AI Google answer. But yet at the same time, right now, this is happening. Right now, the prophets like Jane or many, he's not the only one, many others are out there disseminating information that's always been out there, that's been repressed, but now it's there, it's open. Question becomes, what are you going to do about it? Now what? Are you just going to let it float by and say, oh, it's too much to take in? Oh, I'd rather go on Facebook. I'd rather take selfies of me. You know, I'd rather see selfies of others or the vast distractions, as opposed to what are they saying? What have they said about humans that I share? I need to know that truth about me. It's there now. But I will say that from everything that we see, at some point, the internet will be gone. If it won't be gone, it's going to just be cleaned up, so it just gives just what the government wants you to know. And that's it. So right now, this is available. It's called Timely.
Yeah. Do we want to invite folks?
If folks, I'm sure you've saw and heard what Jang said.
Yeah.
If anyone would like to come on and
Shauna, if you can put the link
and just
in the chat,
maybe
please.
give their perception of it, or maybe a question, or maybe a response, or maybe a support of what was said.
Yeah, we're going to try to stay on topic. So if you can, keep it around there. Your thoughts, either about what you see on the internet, the distractions that are going on.
Whatever's going on. Anything where you ask the question, now what? Now what? And don't know the answer to it. There's so many things that are taking place that don't mirror any of our past.
Okay, the link is up in the chat.
Here's a good one, interesting one. I don't know if it's good. The idea, make Disneyland great again. And I think it was make America great again. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Make it great again. And well, yeah, like when I was young. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. Really. So, okay, now what? Geniuses. How is it the ones who proclaim this, how they propose to do this? Well, at the same time, more changes are coming that are not going to be reversible. In fact, they're going to accelerate in the wrong direction. More civil liberties are being stripped. That's not the world I grew up in. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you what it was like when I was younger, kind of world that we had with the freedoms that we had. Oh my goodness. Now you say the wrong thing and you get someone knocking at your door or
Mhm.
something else or sued or whatever. What now? What now? Will you know what to do as these things become more pressing? What will you do?
If the internet goes down, what
Yeah.
would you do?
Yeah.
That's a question. If
Yeah,
if
no
you
more
don't-
of this.
If you don't have the internet, what would you do?
No more of this. What do you do?
How will you still be able to keep in touch with folks? Do you have neighbors? Do you have friends close by? Family that you can still talk to, visit with? People used to visit before. When I was growing up,
Yeah.
on Sunday, we knew exactly we were going to go visit my grandmother every Sunday. Joe's family, his grandmother came from a large family. They had 10, your grandmother's family.
Mm-hmm.
And there was always people over the house,
Yeah.
And people were always talking and
No internet.
no internet.
No internet.
So,
No cell phones.
what would you do?
No.
Sten says, I would have to talk to real people. Yep.
Amen. Yeah. Well, and so where would those real people be? Dumb question. I mean, they're right around us. Like it says, reach out and touch. Reach out and touch.
Jane Spitfire said that she would read books, write letters, or make signs.
Okay.
Happy Thoughts. Sheila said she would make friends, telephone, letters.
Yeah.
We rely too much on texting.
Oh my goodness. Texting.
And texting, don't you hate it when you're texting and you put the wrong word in and then you send it to the person and the whole message is confused.
Just lost a friend.
Claudia said, oh, yes, and we need our own voice chat so we can simply talk to another one we needed.
So how do you do that? No internet. No internet. How do you do that?
Sparky said, Joe and Fran, I will build a fire and send you smoke signals.
That's it, man. I'll fire a few shots in the air so that you see it, so I respond.
Yeah, that's right. The drive-through. Yeah, Sten mentioned drive-ins. We don't have drive-ins anymore. We used to go and let the kids sit in on the roof rack.
Yeah.
Can't anymore.
Oh, here's a better one while we're talking about the returning past. In most cars, there was a back ledge. There were sedans, back seat, and then there's a ledge behind the back seat, big enough for a child to lay on. And so it wouldn't be unnatural to see a child laying in the back window on that ledge, cruising down the highway. They'd put you in jail for it now if you were the driver. They'd probably put everyone in the car in jail for being some kind of, I don't know what. Well, that was normal.
Backstage.
That was just quote unquote normal.
I don't see Sue.
Should it come back? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, there you are, Sue. Okay, this is Mama Sue, and she's got some good news.
Good news.
Hi, Sue. What's your good news?
Hi, Joe and Fran. Thank you for accepting me up on the panel.
Oh, you're welcome.
I don't mean to change the subject, but I'm so excited I had to share.
Good.
My sister called me and said that the elders, had a circuit overseer come and that they wanted to talk to the family. Well, Michelle and Jay. And well, my sister was at the hockey games with her kids because they play hockey. And then they talked to her husband, Jay, and he had a list of questions for them.
Mm-hmm. Good for him.
His first question was, show me the scriptures where it says we are all not supposed to participate in the bread and wine. And the elder said, we don't know those scriptures. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
They'll get back.
Well, I talked to my brother today, who is like on the fence. And I asked him about it. And he said, elders are so strict now, they will disfellowship them without them even knowing about it.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what it's like in Massachusetts, but here in Iowa, that's what it's like. And I was screaming. I was so thrilled. I was so excited. And my sister's been talking to me, showing me all these new things she does with her family and everything.
Yeah, the whole
And
wow. Good
yeah,
for
the
you.
whole family, her husband, her kids, she will never take her kids back. She has 4 kids.
Wow.
And one thing that I thought about was what's going to happen next to them, and what's going to happen to my brother, because my brother, he's not disfellowshipped, but he doesn't agree with what they say, but he's never spoken up. And he's like our lifeline. If my sister gets disfellowshipped, he's a lifeline to my daughter. So I kind of went a little counseling about that.
Well, Sue, how about if we talk to you privately on the phone, and maybe we can come up with some ideas?
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for coming on.
You certainly got a lot. You got a lot of great things taking place.
No, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I was so excited. I was screaming and yelling, jumping up and down. I was so excited. I'm like, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
And you know, then that can happen in anyone's lives, because there's things that are happening that we just can't foresee. They're happening right now. And
Yeah. And she told me that she hasn't been out in service for 7 years, which I never knew because my mom just died a year ago. And so I never knew she wasn't going out in service.
Wow.
I never knew she wasn't going to the meetings.
Wow.
She said she hasn't been to meetings in 2 years.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, Circuit Overseer shows up and, yep, they want to know what's going on with them.
Wow.
And her husband asked them that one question, and they left. So my brother talked to her, and he said, oh, yeah, they're going to disfellowship you.
Wow. Well, I'm so happy for you and
Thank you.
And your family.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Good news. Good news. You know, and you're gonna come up with the way forward. You're gonna come up.
Yeah.
You are.
Oh, yeah. My brother and I and my sister, we all agreed, now that mom and dad are gone, we're no longer under judgment from anyone.
Good.
Amen.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well,
We're happy for
thank you,
you,
Sue. We just
Thank
want
you
to.
so much.
Yeah, you can stick here if you want, but we just want to say hi to Annie.
Hello, Annie.
Hi, Annie.
Hello, how is everyone?
Good. Your volume is very good.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
this new phone better not give me any trouble.
No, I think you improved greatly.
Let's celebrate. That's great.
So here we are relying on phones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are relying on phones. I hate it, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to get away from it.
Yeah.
For the time being, you know, we
I
got
guess
it.
it's just the way we use what we have, you know, and that's within our control.
Yeah, but you made a good point. I think I know we've talked about this before, that eventually the internet will, well, I had said it would go away and then come back, but maybe it will just be revised without going away completely. I don't know. But it is going to be changing.
It is presently, it's changing in front of our faces. It really is. Talk to the ones who knew it like a decade ago, and they'll tell you now it is nothing like it used to be. Nothing.
Well, I do think there's surveillance, a lot of surveillance of it,
No question.
for
No,
one thing. And
no.
so what's next? What's next might be that, well, I hate to say it, but it could be that you say something wrong on the internet,
Mhm,
you're going to knock on your door.
mhm.
Um,
Or maybe you just won't be able to get that ticket to something that you wanted to get. Or,
yeah, or they'll cut you off on the internet and you won't be able to get on anymore.
right,
Something like that.
yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, and my concern is this whole time we're speaking so freely that all this information could be collected
Oh, yeah,
against us right now.
yeah.
Um,
Well, here's a question. What about travel? I mean, people are so used to just flying, to Europe, all over, but now there's so many restrictions. And I know friends in Canada don't want to come to the U.S. because of all the, difficulties. I'll say it that way. Um, so, okay, maybe we can do shorter trips. I know Joe and I have, we took a long trip across the country, but we said we probably won't do that now just because of the way things are, the way the driving is, the way the laws are. So now we do more local, focus
Right.
local.
Yeah, in fact, that's what every one of us, frankly, can do.
Mm-hmm.
Local.
for now.
Well, yeah, but I mean
For now.
that's going to be the last thing that we're going to be able to do.
Well, because there has been some talk that there might be a restriction on how many miles you can drive in a day without being
Yeah.
fined or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sounds like Nazi Germany, really.
No, there's probably more restrictions on us than them if you look at it.
So
Well, I was
yeah.
just thinking that, when you had traveled, you had to have papers and there
Yeah.
would be stop
Yeah.
points and you better have your papers on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
If
know.
anyone wants to come on the program, the link is at the top of the chat. All you have to do is go to the link and come on.
Some of the other points that
Yeah.
Jan made, honey, on your
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah. Let's
The
see.
myths.
Maintaining cosmic balance and harmony. Oh, he talked about empathy, strong empathy and morality. I thought that was an interesting point where they start at an early age to separate children from parents.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
never really looked at it that way myself.
Oh.
I was a teacher, but here they start with, well, now in this country at least, you can start with daycare as early as babies. They put you
Right.
in daycare. But the whole idea is that they're taking you away from the parents and indoctrinating you.
Government education.
Right.
This was government mandated education. Oh, I don't want my kids to go through that. Oh, you don't, huh? Well, you're putting yourself against the law because it's government mandated.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was young and my father, he was kind of intuitive in some ways at least, but he said that when they started talking about centralizing the local schools under the state, he said this is not a good idea. He was totally against that.
Yeah.
First being a kid, I didn't realize what that meant, but
Right.
I remember when I was very young, I don't think it was centralized. That happened after I was born, and there was these little individual schools, and they hired the teachers, and it was not all uniform
No,
like it is now.
no, not at all.
Yeah,
No.
and teachers had a lot more liberty with how they taught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
And so-
now you get kicked out if you lose your job if you say too much that they don't like.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and this is that unity that the Watchtower is always claiming. They wanted people to be in unity. Basically, they were just looking for clones. They want clones to do their bidding and not to exercise any self-will, no imagination, no self, no being creative, no expressions other than the ones we want in your mouth. And that's all. I mean, that's, my goodness, that starts out as a kid in school.
Right.
It's like, you know, how do you get a good grade? Say everything the teacher wants to hear.
Mhm.
Just say everything.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You got a good grade. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I remember waking up to the realization that everything I've ever learned was taught to me by someone else, and I just was expected to believe whatever I was told. You know, whether it's in school or, you know, adults. Obviously, they should know. They wouldn't teach me anything wrong because, you know, they're adults. So they're in that position over children, and have authority. That's the word, authority. So,
See, and this is in contrast with what the prophets teach people.
mhm.
And when I say the prophets, I mean the ancient writers, old writers of ancient books that teach you about you.
Mhm.
So then you go on to learn. They don't teach you what to know. They teach you about you so you can learn as you want to learn. Totally different. Totally different. But now, totally different. But yet this is coming back now. These prophets of old, so to speak, from this information that is very old, is now, it's present on the internet. It is. You don't have to go reading books
Mhm.
like, you know, like PhDs have to read like 20 books or more. And no, it's being freely given, freely expressed. And basically, you could say it's almost free.
Mhm.
So the question becomes, what now?
Mhm.
You're going to ignore it more, or will you seek it?
Yeah.
Because it's going to teach you about you.
Mhm.
That's what I see happening right now. People have
Mhm.
that opportunity. The opportunity is there.
Then you got to decipher, go through. You can listen, and then you got to decipher it, because you don't want to just be listening to things and just automatically believe them any more than we don't want to fall into that category again. So you have to kind of decipher, try to
Well,
figure out
here's the
what.
test of it. Here's the test of it. And you are the one that tests it. Does what the quote unquote prophets say, does it resonate with you?
Well, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
In other words, is this guy talking about me? And it's like, you know, that son of a gun, he's talking about me. This is how I see and feel. It's
Mhm.
not like what I should. This is what I do.
That's
And
true because I have found that myself in listening to certain things. Some of
oh
the
yeah.
videos you've sent me, and it's like, yep, they're
And,
saying what I had not put into words.
and see, they say that's what a prophet is. Prophet is someone who teaches us how to be human,
Mhm.
Hmm.
which is really amazing if you think about it.
Hmm.
You know, because it's either going to line up with what you think or no, it doesn't.
And you use
So
the word imagination and how important that is. You
yeah,
can never go forward if you aren't able to imagine what was ever invented without someone kind of imagining it,
yeah,
or at least the beginning of that process, and it
yeah,
developed into whatever.
yeah,
But they had to imagine it first.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Huh.
all that answers, you know, the question. Now what? No, you got this situation in front of you. It's terrible. Now what? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to
Yeah,
pray.
it's good to think ahead about some of these possibilities. No
Yep.
one's predicting or prophesying anything exactly at all. Just saying what some of the directions things seem to be going in, but it's good to think about them and kind of think, if nothing else, be prepared mentally, emotionally, because if you don't have that at least as a foundation, you can be just shaken to pieces when things fall apart and you didn't have any clue
That's right.
that it might go that way.
And the information is out there. This is an interesting prophecy about ourselves. And this is Greek. It goes way back. It talks about the tyrant. Tyrant is a Greek word. Tyrant, tyrannical, a tyrant. Well, tyrants are powerful. They have great power. They have wealth. They do what they want. They command. They overpower. They have what people look at and say, oh, if I had his power, wow, if I had a little bit of his wealth, when people desire the riches of the tyrant, they become slaves because they desire his riches. They desire them. They're not theirs. They're not theirs. But because they want them, now they're going to put themselves in a position to do his bidding. Oh, let's get close to him and see what he wants. And he promises. Oh, he promises this if we do this. And then we can get some of what he's got. That's what we want. As opposed to someone says, what he has is his. I don't want any bit of what he has. It's not mine. I don't want to put myself in a position of being controlled by him. I don't want to be owned by him. I have what I have. I will use it to my ability, free from his control. It still gives the person the opportunity to realize, oh, you know what? I was thinking about, his riches and how we could have some, but I wouldn't want to. Now that I see that it would mean slavery, I don't want any part of that. And so that knowledge about ourselves, just helps us to avoid, like you said, the future pitfalls that we could fall into. These are things we need to know.
You see that a lot with Hollywood. People admire Hollywood stars and so forth. And yet I always say I wouldn't trade their fake life for mine at all. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. They live such phony lives.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. They owe. Oh boy, they owe.
Yeah.
They pay too.
Happy Thought asks, if we hadn't been in a high controlled organization, what would we be doing now? Living your life with love, as Vern says.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've often thought about that. If I hadn't been raised as a witness, how would my life have gone? And I must say that there are things about being in the organization as a youth that I did benefit from. It probably spared me a lot of bad mistakes. So I will say that, but it certainly did rob me of a lot of things as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I recognize that there was a portion of that experience that it encouraged a certain goodness. It did. But but past a certain point, it just fell right apart.
Right.
It just, I see what I think happened. It's the people that were backing it, the governments, and then bankers realized that there was something special that was going on at Watchtower. In other words, a lot of people were coming in, they were getting really rich. So they infiltrated with their own people. And that's when they started running it like a corporation, and a religious corporation, to phony. Oh, dear. And then it just changed. My goodness, did it change forever. Well, see, at that point, you could have asked yourself, well, wait a minute now, what do I want to be left with? But see, the problem is at that point, people were secured as slaves. They were secured. And that's the trap. See, that's the snare. That's the snare. Look, Joseph Rutherford was a prophet. Unfortunately, he told the truth, but he was a miserable guy. Terrible. He told the truth. Religion is a snare and a racket. And he goes on to prove it.
Yeah.
They absolutely prove it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, so at that point, you ask yourself, why the heck didn't I listen? You know? Oh, brother, what a lesson.
And I do remember I was always a pretty observant youth, but I remember when congregations had our autonomy. Yes, we had a circuit overseer come around, but he came around to build people up. He didn't come around to judge them.
That's true. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was one presiding overseer. I'm not sure if they used. I think that was the word they used in the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lot of responsibility on that guy too. But the congregation I was in was quite small. When I was real little, we were just a storefront congregation, and
Yeah, I've heard of them.
if we had 30 people on Sunday, that was really good.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it was a small, warm congregation, at least from my perspective as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I loved everyone there, and they were my family. They were my friends.
Yeah.
And I actually remember when things started to change a bit,
Yes.
and we started to grow. And ironically, I resented it because I knew it was going to change things.
Yeah.
Even though I was a kid, I was very young.
No, that's true. That's
I
so
could see the people coming in, and they had influence. They influenced the what's the word I want? The atmosphere. They changed the atmosphere of the congregation.
Here's the genius. They knew what motivates the humans. They knew, and that's why it worked. That's why people who were needy and whatever were attracted to it, and they started to take care of people and organizing them and treat them nice and right. Well, it grew, and then outside forces looked at that and said, I think we can exploit this organization, because they realized the not only political but the financial gain from it.
Mm-hmm.
Government does that; they exploit whatever they can, and so the governments and the banks entered it, backed it, and said, "We're going to run it now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to run it like we want to run it, not like you locals want to run it. We're going to run it the way we want it." And by that time, people are snared in. And that's the snare. Mm-hmm. That's what a snare is. You stick your hand onto something because you think it's food, because that's what you need. But yet it's a trap and you can't get your hand out.
The changes were subtle, like a snare.
Yeah.
It's hidden under the brushes, the leaves and the brush. Yeah. You don't see it until you step on it. Yeah. Now you're hanging upside down.
I know.
But yeah. Yeah.
I know. You got it. I mean, oh my goodness, I remark all the time when we went to a door,
mm-hmm.
and the person listened to our BS, and they were polite, and they did the mental math and said, no, I'm not interested. Thank you. Close the door. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy smokes, and here, you got to have so much respect for someone like that. There's something about them that told them,
it's not for me.
Trouble. And so we go and learn. And that's, now, did those people run into any troubles themselves? I don't know. Maybe they had their own snares.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were raging alcoholics. Maybe
mm-hmm.
they were drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were criminals. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Right. No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But we needed to be left with our autonomy. and we did
Mhm.
not have our autonomy in that organization. See, it would have been fine if they were nice and they took care, but we gave up our self-determination.
Mhm.
We gave up our ability to make our own decisions.
Yeah,
That
even the fellowshipping arrangement, I was just comparing with then and now. And it was so much different. It was kind. It was, they
Wow.
didn't disfellowship someone unless they absolutely had to.
yeah,
And there were talks from the platform about, well, if you backslide, don't beat yourself up. We all make mistakes, and you're
yeah,
in a battle, but just start fresh the next day. And the elders are always there to help you. They weren't there to criticize. They weren't there. You didn't live in fear of being disfellowshipped. That was the last resort.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No, if you were inactive, they encouraged the ones that weren't coming to meetings. But
Mhm.
now it's, they're taking more drastic measures. So,
And you didn't disfellowship children. It was acknowledged that children are going to make mistakes.
Mm.
You did not, and they did not interfere with a family unit like they do now.
no.
They take all authority actually away from this quote unquote head of the household.
yeah.
They take it away from him.
Well, I mean, this is exactly what the government does too, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
so I mean, they're hand in hand, working with each other.
Yeah.
So this is so the question becomes again, now what?
Exactly. Exactly.
So now what? What are we left with?
Well,
And what do I do?
Well, we have our own. We have our own determination. We have our own mind.
Yeah.
And we can do whatever we want to now. We're not bound by that organization. So,
Oh yeah, and see, there's things that I'm going to do now that I didn't do before. There are
right.
things I'm not going to do now that I did before.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that is such a good remark, because it is so sad when people come out and they fall apart. They
Yeah.
experiment with anything and everything, and they destroy and hurt themselves
Yeah.
only to try to have to recover from that.
Yeah.
And you don't have to leave the organization and go out in the world and try everything and ruin your life. That's not the point.
No.
The point is to be able to build your own autonomy, your own life, and do it but in a healthy way.
No.
So I guess my point would be, what now? Well, what now if you're coming out? Take time. Take time to get your footing, breathe a little bit, and think. Think about what your next step is going to be.
Yeah.
And it always should be with protecting yourself in mind.
Yeah. I think what's happened where people have been able to discuss that too among each other. They're the ones that, might be either listening here or on other channels. They're sharing with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they're helping each other to understand things and support each other going through
Right.
that. They didn't have that before.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Now they
true.
do. And I'm
That's
very, and I'm glad that, I mean, that's what we decided we want to do, is simply help people reunite, get together, start supporting each other, and go forward.
Mhm.
That's what's needed. Each other's
Mhm.
support to be strong.
Yep.
And and there's, as far as their religious and spiritual beliefs, they're out there. If somebody wants to be religious or spiritual, have at it.
Mhm.
There's good direction for it. I mean, that goes way back. In fact, you don't have to stop at Jesus. It goes way back before Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
The things that Jesus spoke, he's not the first one that spoke those things. He's not.
Right.
But
Mhm.
yet he did give great direction for humans. He did.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you can't. So we have that to go forward with. But on the other hand, you look at the bad things, like what the religions have done. It's like, good night. And here they were supposed to be for good. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
So now we know.
Mhm.
And that what we're seeing online, people leaving religion, they're leaving Christianity in huge numbers. They're realizing Christianity is not what it presented itself to be. And learning what it means to be human. They're learning.
Yep.
Hello, Hasta Babe.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hello.
What's your thoughts?
Hi. I was just seeing if there's an echo, but everybody's just saying hi. And that's the echo.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah, I am looking for it. So I'm going to leave and come right back, okay?
Okay.
Did you hear an echo?
No.
I think Linda may have had two things on.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear an echo. I was fooling around.
No,
Yeah,
we didn't.
no, I
We
know.
didn't either.
I know.
Unless she meant because we said it over and over. Hello, hello.
Oh no, I hope she did.
I don't know.
I was playing on the word.
Uh,
Claudia, thank you for joining us. She said, "Oh no, look at the time. She's in Germany. I was only gonna give you an hour. Oh my, on my way to the toothbrush." There you are, Linda. Hello.
Hi, much better.
Okay.
good.
So, Joe, tell me about how many people you know with autism.
You know, I'm not sure
Okay. Just
because
thought I'd ask.
because they could be autistic and I don't recognize it.
Okay. Just thought I would ask.
I really don't know. That's a good question. That's an excellent question. I don't. Not everybody reports says, "Hey, autistic here."
So
In my area, it's very common, though. I'll tell you.
yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is. I know quite a few.
Okay.
How about you, Linda?
I mean, I do know some, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Do you
I'm
know
not
a
gonna-
lot of autistic people?
People that my oldest daughter would hang out with tend to be kind of nerdy and autistic and a bit socially awkward.
Mhm.
But
I know a
I
lot
tend
of
to, yeah. And then when we leave the org, we're kind of like that too, because
yeah.
we haven't developed within society at large very well.
Right.
So that
Well,
that
right.
gets to be
Well,
awkward.
did you catch what Jang was saying though about that? Did you
About
hear it?
Did you hear the
autism?
video?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear him
Oh,
claim
well,
anything
please,
about autism.
please go back to it and see. Oh, you know, he was. In fact, the girl, when the student asked a question about it, which was really insightful.
Yeah, it was very positive.
Very insightful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I
Area.
could take a guess, I would bet he has autism. I bet he's Asperger's, which is,
I
kind of
understand.
off the charts genius.
Yeah,
He is genius.
He is pretty out there.
But so, there's different theories and stuff about what causes autism, but there's also the thought that it's hereditary,
Mhm.
so that might be a thing too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wildwall just has a statistic said that according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the rate of autism in the U.S. children has risen from 1 in 150 in 2000 to 1 in 36. So
Wow.
it's really increasing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's our
There's a
being able to diagnose or pick
Yeah.
up on it
yeah.
that has
agree.
assisted that as well.
I
So
agree.
so I was diagnosed autistic, having autism, like in my 50s. So
Mhm.
people didn't even know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have an uncle who's a literal rocket scientist.
Mhm.
And then I have another uncle who probably doesn't function well, socially at all. He's
Right.
very different, you know. And then there's me somewhere in between, you know.
You know, look, what they were bringing out, Linda, is that, and it resonated with me. Honestly, I think autism potentially is a reaction to the restriction of socialized thinking and behavior that interferes with a person's creativity.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it's an objection. I object. I object to what this society is doing to
Mhm.
me. I prefer my mind, my creativity, my world, not yours. That's what I tend to believe, and I kind of respect that.
I
Like they're
have
in a
known
different
some.
world.
Annie?
Oops.
I was just
Did
going to
you?
say, I agree with that. I have known some autistic people that I was sure were very brilliant people,
Mhm.
but for whatever reason, their brains seemed to misfire, or at least they thought in a very different way. But in fact, I had a distant relative, very autistic. But boy, I mean, he's so drugged up now. He's so messed up. But I knew him at one point when he wasn't on drugs. I spent a lot of time with him, and he was just a young kid at the time, young man at the time, I'll say. And I mean, I couldn't always understand and follow him, but he asked some very good questions, and he presented some very interesting ideas as well. And but now he's all spaced out because they drugged him up so much.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah.
And I believe there's kind of a scale, you know.
Oh
That's
my
true.
goodness.
Yeah.
Different people are
Oh.
on different portions of the scale.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, yes. Well,
I mean, there's the term highly functioning autistic person,
yeah. Well,
for
it's like
example.
an alcoholic too. There's
Right.
alcoholics that can't do anything but be an alcoholic, and that's it. Then on the other hand, there's high functioning alcoholics, and
Right.
then everything in between. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's that way with every other nature that we possess. I really do. I think we just need to be allowed to be what we are.
That's what I think as well. You
Yeah.
know, the what now?
Mhm.
I would think, you know, tap into oneself and enjoy reflecting on things of your past and how you're thinking today, and
Yeah.
that could be different than how you thought maybe 3 to 5 years ago or 20 years ago,
Oh yeah.
and you know, consider that it could be growth, it could be healthy growth, or you can look back and see, like, to be honest, when I when I look back in my 20s and early 30s, I said some stupid stuff, and I thought I knew it all. Okay,
Yeah.
We're brilliant.
Yeah.
We're brilliant,
right,
then. We're just brilliant.
right. So, you know, I look back now and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that, but
Yeah.
I did. You know, so
Mhm.
it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well,
I mean, I've said myself that, kind of joking at myself, I said, I'm sure that when my name comes up in a group, eyes roll.
But if we can laugh about it and you know, also notice like the growth that we've been intending in areas that we have been intending to grow
yeah,
in,
yeah.
and acknowledging that, and even patting yourself on the back a little bit, you know,
Mhm.
for that, because we
Mhm.
had so much stinking thinking and negative reinforcement. To have positive reinforcement
Yes.
now, even self-given positive reinforcement, is, I think, pretty healthy. And there's this thought that when you're training animals or kids, that you'll get more out of their behavior with positive reinforcement, more
Yeah.
so than any negative reinforcement.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty successful. So it's helpful even if you give it to yourself, you know. And then I think it's a form of self-care, which we were taught to basically treat others better than ourselves,
That's true.
and to
Yeah.
give until we fall out, you know.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
really like the thought of self-care for me used to be very, oh, that's selfish and I shouldn't do that. But
Oh,
today,
Yeah, because
I
we had
don't.
to lower ourselves,
Yeah.
and others were better than us, and yeah, they really tested
This is what
us.
religion, even the word itself, I learned a further the meaning of it. It's Latin. It's called, the word was from relegare, something like that. Basically, what it means is to actually lower the person's status as a human. In other words, if they're divine creatures, we're going to make them lowly animals. Religion is going to reduce them to a lowly animal. That's what religion was designed to do, to get a person to behave at a lower level.
Certainly
Right.
does that when you tell people that your baby is an enemy of God.
Oh, God. Oh,
I
my
know.
goodness.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. What a boy.
You're a good for nothing slave. And here Jesus said, you possess the light. You possess light. And even Zhang is saying that
We're the spark.
we have a spark of the divine light within us, and we are connected to the ultimate light. And this is an interesting word if you ever want to look it up. The pleroma, Pleroma. It's the fullness of light, if you can imagine what the fullness of light is. The pleroma, where we possess a spark of that. And so we resonate with that. Well, like you were saying, if we felt that way as parents and then looked for that in our children and helped them to, sometimes too old, too soon, too smart, too late.
Yeah. When I was raising my son, I felt that my job was to help him to be the best version of himself.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It wasn't my responsibility to shape his life ahead for him. In fact, there's a saying, do not try to prepare the road for the child, prepare the child for the road ahead.
Boy, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Sometimes parents want to smooth everything out for their kid.
Yeah.
But that's not life. Life is rough. So you've got to prepare the child for the rough road ahead.
I've noticed that about the things you've said in the past, Annie, that you've promoted him to be tapped into who he authentically is.
Yeah, I used to tell him. Of course, I wanted him to be a witness, of course, but he would be his own version, basically. That's the way I saw it, because he got to be himself. Because I would tell him that, I wanted certain things, but he had to be true to himself. I didn't want him to live a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Jan was talking about how previously women were basically in charge of procreation. In other words, removed from team.
An admin removed you from team.
Oh, just give him a sec to come back on. StreamYard doing something here in the background.
How are you, Shauna?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing, Annie?
I'm doing all right. And Vern?
Oh, Vern's doing well. Sorry about that, Joe and Fran.
It's okay.
Yep.
Did we lose Linda?
Yep, she'll be back on here too. I've told her to come back on. So I'm doing well, Annie. Thank you. And so is Vern. Yeah, recovering every day a little bit more. So my apologies, Linda. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That was me, not you. You're all good. Thank you guys. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you. You were talking about
Oh yeah,
women.
Chang was bringing out that previous to the family arrangement, there was no family arrangement. It was not a family arrangement for procreation. The women in a community would choose their mates, multiple mates, and the more the better, because what it did, it prevented anyone from knowing who owned or whose child it was. Rather, they all took responsibility for the children. It was a community responsibility for the child, for all the children.
That's
And
amazing to hear that.
Well,
And
the phrase "it takes a village to raise a child."
yeah,
Yes.
I didn't know it would involve. See,
yeah,
I want to call that promiscuous because which is never used with a male, is it? Only
Right.
a woman. If she's
Well, it
Guys will
wasn't-
be guys.
but it wasn't promiscuous. It was
Wait,
actually
that's what I'm hearing.
it was pretty intelligent, because what it did, it allowed the child to exist in an environment where he had the opportunity for many different influences,
Yes.
rather than being focused and tracked on one. That's really, I thought that was very interesting. It was only after be it the either the church or the emperors were encouraging family, nuclear family, man, wife, that's it. Because I think they were more controllable that way.
Do you think that's part of patriarchy?
Oh, I'm sure. Oh my God, yes. Oh my, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, patriarchy.
You know what I
Oh,
wanted to add on to what you were saying about religion, that they want you to kind of lower yourself from the position you were in, mentally or spiritually or physically. It also encourages dependence upon
Oh
the
yeah.
religion, which makes one less self-reliant.
They don't want
So,
self-reliance, right? Right.
I mean, if somebody is a Christian and that's what works for them, okay, you know, I'm not trying to down talk about Christianity, but
No.
that goes along with the whole lowering yourself.
Yeah.
When you find yourself dependent on others, it's not always safe.
Right.
You know,
Well, I mean, that's
we were taken advantage as we were in a position of dependency on the org.
well, the findings are out there, and the internet is like an opportunity to see the findings as if it's a huge study. So for example, what happens with a large number of people who become this one religion, for example, Christian? How does it go for them? How does it result in the future for them? What do they end up doing? Well, I mean, number one, it showed that the religions were hypocrites. You know, the leaders in the religion were absolute hypocrites, doing illegal, and taking advantage of children, criminal hypocrites, number one. And number two, the people ended up, many are leaving because they lost any self-determination that they had. They weren't in control of their own minds, and I said I can't go on that way. I don't feel right going on that way. So people vote with their feet in large numbers. This is where the one beauty of the internet is: you get a chance to see what large numbers of people do, and it helps. I think it just helps us make a decision ourselves.
That's true, and it sounds like what you were just saying is they might even have a sense of losing hope, and if they're in a position of losing hope and being someplace else lets them live in their hope, that someplace else is going to be more attractive.
Yeah. And for example, you don't leave something that's attractive for you. You don't leave it. you leave in favor of something else that is. And there was no hope. What hope is there in a religion where the leaders are hypocrites and criminals? It's like,
Can I just tell a story real quick about hypocrisy? A good example of it.
yeah,
I had a study years ago, and she grew up in the Bible Belt Baptist, and she was telling that one Sunday morning, the preacher was up front, and he was really Baptist. You know how they tend to be. And he was really coming down on the congregation about those who smoked and how they were going to go to hell. And, they rant and rave and get all praise the Lord and all that stuff.
sure.
So anyways, it was a hot summer day and he took his jacket off. Well, he forgot to take the pack of Winston's down his white shirt pocket.
Wow.
He lost a few that morning.
Brother.
But another thought is that it's interesting in other churches, and I say this because I know firsthand of someone I know who's Lutheran, and I know that's not the only example, but the congregation can actually remove the pastor.
Yeah.
If they don't like the pastor, they can actually remove the pastor.
Well, they
Yep.
pay for him.
Yeah.
They pay for him.
Yeah.
They just get together and say, "We're gonna get rid of this bum."
But that's autonomy. I mean, that's how my point is that those churches, and maybe not all of them are, because I think some of them are syndicated and they're under the authority because they do have the religious colleges and everything that they have to go to.
Yeah.
So there might not be autonomy in all settings, but there are some.
So there are,
And that goes back a long way.
and they're different. And so, and it's to be noticed that there are differences. Not all quote unquote religions are the same.
Right.
Not all churches that someone attends are the same by any means. And I think a lot of people are finding that, some are being more, I don't know what you would say, where they're more like spiritual guides, or rather than ministers. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. But at least people are exercising their right now. They're exercising their rights.
Can you imagine trying to do that as a witness? Remove the Kobe or the presiding overseer?
Look, a slave is a slave. You know what I mean?
I mean, the congregation, without involving any higher ups, the congregation takes a vote to remove them. They shut down the whole congregation then.
And now look what the organization is becoming. We don't even know what it's becoming, but we know what it's not anymore. But they're going to, from what it seems, they say that they're going to be an online religion. Everything's going to be on your phone. They're going to know everything about you, how much you do this, how much you do that, how much money you've been giving.
They may go to one meeting a week. They don't need 2 meetings, just
but
one
at
meeting.
some point, they're not going to have meetings.
Right.
It's gonna be
Well,
on the phone,
on the phone,
on
on
the
Zoom,
line.
whatever.
Yeah. And the fact that Ramapo is just copying Hollywood.
That's a commercial endeavor,
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, that's not a religious thing. It's commercial.
And it's profitable. It works.
Yeah.
It's media on steroids, is what it is.
Because Joe, how many years have they already been doing videos without Ramapo? They were doing them in tuxedo. How many years has that been now?
Didn't they start back in, if anybody
90s?
knows in the chat, well, I was thinking 2014, 2013.
Was it
when the Gray Bible came out in 2013, were they already making videos?
Might be. I couldn't say.
Yeah, that's just a marking point. Maybe somebody knows.
Media, it's all about media. They're gonna stay. They're gonna keep the connection to people through visual, audio, visual. It's all magic. It's all going to be magic.
Sorry to interrupt. When the representatives of the Watchtower were at Ramapo talking to the people within the city to request all this stuff, you know, permits for this, that, and the other. They did that live. And they stated that the reason they wanted to put this together was not because they weren't making videos. They were. They stated that they were, but it was at different places, and they wanted to bring all the places together.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And
I
it's
don't know
all
why. It's worked pretty good up to this point.
well. It's going to make Hollywood look like child's play.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
If Hollywood has
Caleb.
any kind of effect on people, and it does,
Their Caleb and Sophia videos are
well, this is going
Top
to
notch.
be on steroids. It really is.
Okay.
They learn enough for that.
Here's what Google says. The JW Broadcasting Internet Television station started in October 2014, and the expansion of digital content on jw.org. So, yeah, that goes back to the broadcasting started in 2014. Yeah, I thought it was around there.
But do you remember the first video they made? Actually, it was VHS. I used to have it. And it was called the Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization behind the name.
Yep,
Right, yeah, I remember that. We had that.
I thought it was special.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember rolling my eyes at that one.
Yeah.
when they announced that, and I thought, because videos were just really catching on,
Yeah.
and in my head, I was put out by that, because I saw this as a time taken away from family.
Mhm.
You know, people just time taken away from the family. They're going to be spending it sitting and watching movies, watching videos now. And then when Watchtower came out with their first one, I thought, you've got to be kidding me. You're joining that?
Yeah. Well, the Caleb and Sophia, they started in Caleb with the airplane, and he, you know, making a mess in the house and all that. So they were starting to use them to teach children, and then it just got way out of control, and they use it for everything.
So a question I have to ask, how political are they going to become? When you think of the original name, Zion's Watchtower, they're political as the day is long. But
I think we saw that during COVID. We saw that during COVID, didn't we?
Okay. Yeah. Well, now, how is it going to become even more so? In other words, what are my kids going to end up being? How are they going to end up becoming more political? You know, whereas they weren't previously. I think they're going to be marched into something. I really do.
Yeah.
Mike and Kim made a video, I would say a few years back, where she pointed out where Watchtower actually donated to politics.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact is, when they suggest that the congregants write letters to wherever, Malawi, Russia, wherever, that is doing something to change the minds of somebody in leadership in government.
Yeah.
And what is that called? It's I can't think of the name of it. So it's one of those things they say they don't do.
Yeah.
So
that was anything but neutral. That's for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, neutral. No.
So they are in government.
Plus, they were NGO with the UN for 9 years, almost 10.
Yes.
John Marciano put a link in the chat, and it's by a girl called Renee, and the name of her video is Jehovah's Witnesses Are a Cult Within a Cult. So he put the link right in the chat if anybody wants to check it out. But it's called Jehovah's Witnesses Are a Cult Within a Cult.
Yeah, the country is a cult.
Yeah.
I mean, American culture.
Yeah.
So
right, cult is short for culture, and there are political cults as well.
Yeah. So right now, so you're asking the question, And then still, or I ask myself, now what? Okay, now what?
Mhm.
You know, what are they gonna want from me now that I'm not gonna want to give them?
Yeah.
So it might be okay to be selfish, because if you gave whatever that is you're thinking of, it might not be in your best interest.
All right.
It might make you, less able to be secure in your footage. Like when Annie was talking about getting your footage, and, that leads to being confident where you stand, where your place of what you've decided is integrity, standards, morals, whatever that is,
Yeah. 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 And see, the person knows, every one of us knows that whether or not they're behaving truthfully. In other words, well, I know what I'm doing, but I really don't believe in it. I just go along. Or no, I really believe in it, no matter what anyone says. And so many people, and we know this just with PMOs, they're in an organization that they don't want to be in,
Mm-hmm.
but they also don't want to get stolen from and hurt. So, but the question becomes, are you going to want to die without ever having been truthful? Because of the fear of loss. It's a trade-off. And this is something that each individual has to answer for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's a snare. Man, that's a snare. But yet, we see people doing things. No, the human has that spark of imagination and courage and insight to do whatever it needs to do. We possess it. I believe that. I really do. Sometimes it just takes time to see.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we're done.
Yep. And Shauna is here. And
Can I just read quickly the Article 18, freedom of religion? It won't take long.
Yeah. What is it?
Article 18 in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Oh, yeah.
Is what number it is for freedom of religion, which the leadership goes to court on a regular basis claiming their freedom of religion. So here it is. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom either alone or in community with others, and in public or private to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. Within this, it tells us that we have the freedom to change our religion or belief.
mm-hmm.
The Watchtower should not be using shunning as a consequence of our human rights of freedom of religion.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that you read?
The name of what I just read?
Yeah.
It's called Article 18, which there's 30 of them within the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
That's what I wanted,
Yeah.
Article 18.
And it's
yes,
and that's so important to us, but unfortunately that goes in conflict with the rights of religion that the government likes to grant religions. And they say the rights of religion are greater than the human rights. And that's what we're seeing at this point. That's what we're seeing. So however that continues, I don't know. And that's what's going to get battled out, I think. That conflict between the rights of a religion to practice its religion versus the individual human right within that religion. So interesting.
And if I can jump in here right now, Joe, that's, I think, actually what we're going to be seeing in Norway next month.
Well, it's going to
that
be interesting.
that is coming up. So that's just a couple weeks away now. So that's yeah, it's playing out in real time. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
just would like to take a moment just to thank Joe and Fran for your time tonight. I would like to thank all the moderators for tuning in and helping out in the chat, and of course all of the viewers. We don't show it in the beginning of the show, but please do check out the website, xjwfriends.com. There's events listed there, birthdays, and even support. So, it's all there for you guys to use. And also, please check out our Discord. There's also some fun events happening there and, people hanging around talking. So we'd love to see you join there. I'll put the link in the chat. So, Joe and Fran, do you mind going a few minutes longer? Because there's a guest by the name of Finding Gnosis that just came backstage. So did you want to take one more guest?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just one moment here.
Finding.
Oh, hello.
Hello there.
Now. Thank you. No, I don't know how I've stumbled across your channel, but I'm intrigued. Like, are you guys all ex-Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yes, we are. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations for seeing through the illusions and standing on your own 2 feet. Can I ask a question? I was never a Jehovah's Witness. I was raised a Catholic.
So were we. We were.
Originally.
Oh, you were, and then you became Jehovah's. I got you.
Yes.
Have you felt a sense of loss though, to some degree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's something I've suffered with personally. In that, I'm agnostic now. Okay, I don't know if you have a faith, but I'm agnostic.
Yes, you do have a faith.
You do have a faith. Okay, can I ask?
No, just to answer your question emphatically, yes, we have suffered a loss, and that's the loss of our family.
Our four
and
adult
that's
children.
It. Everything else is garbage.
Yeah.
Everything else was.
Yeah, we lost all our children.
There was absolutely nothing that we walked away from that's of any value. Nothing except our family.
Well, see, we were 33 years old when we started to study with Jehovah's Witnesses, and we had 4 small children at the time, and they really took to it, and they believe it. So when we questioned it and found out about the child sexual abuse, they went against what we were finding out, and as a result, they shun us.
And our mission, so to speak, is just helping reunite individuals that are being shunned, so that they can become a support for each other. That's all we're doing. No, not religious at all. Just simply socially supportive.
Well, I'm delighted. Is it your channel? Because I'm a bit confused. Because there's producers.
There's 2 channels.
Yeah.
It's Joe and Fran. That's the one you're on right now.
Yeah.
And then Fixing My Faith. They host us. So we're on 2 channels. Fixing My Faith. They're in Canada, and we're in New York State.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to share with you that the loss that you're talking about could also be a very normal loss, even when we leave something that's toxic, maybe a toxic relationship or a friendship or a boss. Even if we've made a good decision, a wise decision, it's also normal to feel a loss, even when you left for a very good reason.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so true, because I mean, people are involved, and we're social creatures. So there's people there that we connected with on a human level. There are, but unfortunately, their policies make it so that you can't continue them. They won't allow them. We would continue relations with a lot of those people. We would. Yeah.
Gnosis, do you mind saying where you're from? You don't have to, but I just wondered.
That's okay. Yeah, I'm in London in the UK. I also have a channel that talks, and we kind of just, we're all random individuals trying to work out what's going on in this weird existence. That's why it's called finding gnosis, trying to find knowledge.
I like that. I
Very
like that.
nice.
And that's why our.
I would love to talk to you guys at some point, because it would be nice to talk to people who left the faith. And I know you still believe in Jesus, right? You still follow Jesus. I'm guessing that.
I follow
don't-
Jesus out of religion.
Outside of it. So yeah.
And Jesus said he blasted the religions. He condemned religion. I feel the same. I agree with him.
Gnosis.
I believe he said somewhere, don't go to church. Just don't go into a church. I believe that someone told me that recently. Yeah.
Gnosis, I was just going to tell you in the chat, there's Happy Thoughts, and she's from the UK. We have Claudia from Germany. Matthew comes in from South Africa. And we have, what's her name? Liar from France. So we do have an international group of people. And our goal is to connect people.
That's it.
So
Just
if you want to
connecting.
connect with people in the UK, we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to talk to people who walked away for whatever reason, just to see what it did for them personally. I know you guys are all ex-Jehovah Witnesses, but obviously on my channel they're not. But I still think there's a good bridge to others, because I think the wisdom you have will help people in so many ways. It's very interesting.
Well, we open ourselves up. I tell people we seek inspiration, and we hope we give it to, and that's what we just.
So I think Sheila or Happy Thoughts wants to connect with you. So again, your channel is Finding Our Gnosis, right?
Just finding
gnosis. Yeah.
Just finding gnosis. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. No, I appreciate a lot of the gnosis, the teachings, hermetics, the any of the agnostic or gnosis. It's fascinating.
I do think there is something strange going on with this existence. I think there probably is something going on beyond the veil. But what you'll find on my channel is we've got a lot of neurodiverse individuals who think extremely differently about matters, so that's why. And I can understand why some people find it hard to believe in God, because of some of the experiences I've heard. And just the mere fact that we are all very different, and some people don't have joie de vivre, happiness. Some people, do you know what I mean? And some people have. This life is very strange. I'm just going to say that. That's all I'm going to say at the moment.
Look,
life is extremely strange.
There's not a day that doesn't go by where I ask myself, who came up with this arrangement? Because it's very troublesome.
It is. And can I just say something? I left the kind of mainstream Catholic Church. I did try the Anglican Church for a while. That's the Church of England. Didn't vibe with that either. And the Jehovah's tried to get me twice. They were very well. The first time I was wasn't very young. I was 23, and I met this stunningly beautiful young lady about my age, and I asked her, "Would you like to come to the cafe to meet me one day?" She said she would, and then she came in with a box of Watchtower. Sorry, I swore. Sorry. And she tried to recruit me, but then she said, "I'm not meant to talk to you because you're a different gender." But she did. Basically, she spoke to me for a little while, maybe a few weeks, but there was no dating on the horizon, so I had to say no. But she was trying to get me in, and then later on in life, someone knocked on my door and were very insistent, very, very, very insistent. Kept
just
knocking
promoters.
on my door.
You're all promoters.
Oh my goodness, insistent. Wouldn't stop ringing me. Oh my goodness, it was very hard. It was very difficult. Now I understand it if it's what they believe. They literally believe they're trying it. They are doing good, which is.
Well, look, the fear is probably more powerful than the belief, because it turns out that They don't want to be found out not believing, because then they're going to be shunned and they're going to lose their family. So there are many people, they're called PMO, physically in, but they're mentally out.
Right. Right.
They're faking it. They're faking it. They don't want to lose. They know they will lose their family and friends.
It's a very interesting dynamic, because I've heard of kids walking away from their parents, but parents walking away from the kids is a new one for me.
Oh, no, look.
I'm not saying you've walked away from the kids, but you've walked away from the belief system. That's what I mean.
did.
Usually it's the other way around.
They
We
have
did.
videos. They have videos that instruct parents how to shun their children.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
Wow.
We
That's
tried for
terrible.
a year. We tried for a year to retain and to reach our family and let them know why and what we're doing, but they wouldn't have any of it.
That sounds almost like I found out about this cult that was around in the 80s. I think it was called the Family of God or something, or the Children of. It was like some weird.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm,
They had
yes.
cartoons. They had cartoons on mainstream television and everything, and
Wow.
comics
Yeah.
they used to send around to people's
Mr.
houses.
Berger, Mr. Berger
He was
used
a
to draw
pedo.
them out for his
He was
followers.
a pedo. Yeah. Oh my
Mhm.
God, that was a crazy cult, man. But yeah,
There's a
it
gal
is terrifying.
The knitting cult
Sorry?
lady, who was a previous child of God, grew up in that organization, and then she joined the Navy and some other things, and she's written a few books about
Right.
her time in that organization. But they would recruit people by doing what was called flirty fishing. So they were trying to bring
Yeah.
people to God by flirting with them.
Honeypot.
The Jehovah's
They
Witnesses
probably
is
would have got
almost,
me that way. I probably would have been a sucker for that initially, but I've grown out of that now, thank God.
right. So the young lady that you invited to go have, to go out with, she was not allowed to date you unless you were a Jehovah's Witness. And the shunning that Joe and Fran is talking about is mandatory within this organization.
It's mandatory.
And so
I tried my best, but it definitely didn't work on that one. Yeah.
Well, that's the dynamic, the motivation with the witnesses. It's fear of loss, absolute loss. It's less, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think most of them even believe what they say. I really don't. I'm going to give them credit and say that they just go along with it. The hook is the fact that they get them to police themselves as to loyalty, and it means their family and their relationships because of shunning. Whoever came up with that was diabolical and brilliant. It works.
As an outsider, an observer, I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but I've always, if you look at the Watchtower magazines and even some of the Jehovah's Witnesses in general, they come across, I don't like this word, they come across very square, and like, I mean, they all look like they dress up in their suits, and I don't know, it's a very square, very sterile, very clinical. It's very.
They're curated people.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And they've lost their natural humanity.
Yeah.
It's like their soul has been taken from them.
That's called putting on the new personality. That's what they think.
Right.
And it's just conforming. It's just conforming to.
It's quite creepy.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But the good side is many are leaving. There are ones listening now who are probably witnesses. They're listening. They're ready to come out. So, and there's a steady stream of ones coming out. So, well, so nice to meet
I
you.
subscribed to your channel, Gnosis, and I noticed that your last video is called Live, going live while we still can.
Yeah.
What is really going on? And we were just talking.
We kind of like. I will pre-warn you. Some of the videos have a depressive realism kind of slant, kind of pessimistic kind of philosophy. So if you want to look at things, maybe the live streams, because some of the videos are just dark poems in terms of existential angst and stuff. Because it does lead me there sometimes artistically, but yeah, the live streams are a different kettle of fish.
I got you. Everything's.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. If you're on WhatsApp, are you on WhatsApp? Can you call us?
I screenshotted because she shared your number and email a moment ago. I screenshotted
Yep,
that. So
there we are.
It's on.
I can contact you on that. Yeah, but
Okay.
you know, it would be nice to have a conversation in this regard. You know, and maybe I can do it with the lady here. Sorry, Lee Faith. What was that? The name of the host channel?
Fixing
My Faith.
Yeah, it was
Fixing My Faith. Yeah,
Yeah, Vernon.
A lot of people are lost, you know, these days. You know, we are in extremely scary times. I mean, AI, you know, the economy, just the way the world is going, developing technologically and sociologically. It's a crazy ride at the moment.
Gnostic, my faith is that we possess the answer. The answer lies within. The answer lies within. We possess it, but we have to listen to it. And then we have to face up to the truth of it. And that's our faith.
Yeah, so we're on every Wednesday evening. We're live and it's 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're in New York State, and we usually go a couple hours. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave you lovely people to it. And as I said, I'll pop back again. But I am going to do a dive into it because it is really interesting to hear these kind of stories, you know, and where people go afterwards is also interesting.
Yes, beautiful people.
Yeah, we look
forward I do wish you all the best with your onward journey, and I hope we can talk again.
And you too.
And you too.
All of us.
And we'll check your channel too.
Yes.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shauna.
That's nice, Shauna.
Yep, you never know which way these things are going to go, hey?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Joe or Fran, did you have any last words here?
Yes.
Final words?
You know, now what? More of the same. Let's keep living our lives with love. That's what.
Yes.
Right on.
And it's nice to see Vern on the chat too. Thank Vern for us.
Absolutely. He's listening right now, I believe. So thank you all. And I hope you all have a great week. And we'll see you next Wednesday, everybody.
Annie and Pasta Babe.
Yes,
everyone.
We love you all. And everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us tonight.
Stay safe, warm, and everything.
Yes.
You too. Good night.
Love you. Good night.
Bye.